Hey, Songtown, I'm here with Marty, Dodson. We've written with dozens of hit artists, and these are 5 things we've learned. Marty, you want to kick it off?
Yep. So your job when you're writing with an artist is to help them write their best song. And often I've been these co-writes where somebody in the room is trying to push the artist to do what they want the artist to do. Almost never works.
Yeah.
So you've got to find out what they want to say and help them write that song instead of trying to push your idea. And this came to light with me. I was writing with Big Kenny from Big and Rich, and I wrote 4 songs with him for one of their records. 2 of them were ideas that I talked him into, and 2 of them were his ideas, and he cut the 2 that were his ideas.
Of course.
Of course he did. So I learned from that I should have just, every single time I should have gone, what do you want to say? And really engaged him in that conversation.
Not that you can't put your own voice in there, but what you're saying, it's important to find out what they want to say as an artist and support that.
Right.
And I think that's so important. I mean, the only exception to that is occasionally there'll be a songwriter that is so hot, or a producer that is so hot, that they're almost the artist.
Right.
And artists will come to them for that sound.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about is if you're invited to go on a tour bus to write with whoever, Luke Combs tomorrow, you're going to go out and write with Luke. It's best to let him talk about what they want to say right now.
Yeah.
And let a song build out of that.
And the reason for that is that they have been in all the meetings with the label people or their team and their managers and their producers, and they've heard all the conversations about, well, here's what we're missing, or, here's what we want you to go, where you want to go with this next record. And you don't have all that info, so the artist has a lot of insight into what's going to be on that next record that they're going to put out. And so listening to them is super important.
Or even if it's the artist that was in a meeting and the label says, we really need this kind of song from you. And they get on the bus to write with you, and they're like, screw the label. I'm going to write my own thing. This is what I want to write.
Yeah.
So it works both ways, because I don't think ultimately an artist can be a puppet and write, whatever the label wants them to write. I think the best artists have a clear vision of who they are and what they want to say.
And, finding out what it is that's on their mind doesn't mean that we're always writing their song idea. A lot of times they'll say, well, I want to write a song that kind of does this, and I'll help them find something that...
You might have a title.
Yeah, I have a title
fits great.
that fits that. So, it's not always that you just have to go, well, I'm only going to write your ideas, but you want to get the information from them about what they want to say, and then you can often plug in some better ideas that they have.
Because then they feel invested. They care about it more. When they go play that for their manager, for their label, then it's going to come off different than if, well, here's some songs this guy made me write.
Exactly, yeah. They pushed me into this one, but...
Yeah. My big tip would be to come in having done your homework, because I think so many times when I look back on my successful artist co-writes, I'll put on, if I'm not familiar with them, I'll put on an album or 2 of their music and just kind of soak up a vibe of who they are. I don't want to copy anything. I'm actually trying to write the sequel. I want to write, okay, you've done this. I want to write your next thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to do my homework, listen a little bit, and then come in prepared with some song starts. Now, if you or I were sitting down to write, I might just come in with maybe a chord progression and a little melody idea, or I might have a title. When I write with an artist, I try to come in with maybe an entire chorus finished.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't force that on the artist, but it's always in my back pocket. So if we're writing, if nothing comes out of the conversation in the room, we can fall back on that. And I have had good luck a couple of times. Don't think about it was Darius Rucker's first number 1. I brought that entire chorus to him done in one piece. I think if I had just told him the title and plucked around the guitar for 30 minutes, who knows what would have happened. We probably would not had that first number one, but because I had a full chorus done, then we could set about, he loved it. We set about writing the verses. So I like to have that in my back pocket and pull it out if we need it.
Yeah, and one of mine, I think, too, is you need to have a bunch of killer ideas, whether they're song starts or just titles. And I'm huge on being organized with those ideas. So if the artist says, I want to write a song about growing up on a farm, I can search for farm in my database and it shows me all my ideas about growing up on a farm.
You are way too organized, man.
I know.
I can't. I have this mishmash of titles on my phone, and I'll just scroll through them, and I'm not organized in any kind of way.
And the reason I do that too is when I'm writing with an artist, almost every single time, you have a very limited time with them.
Yeah.
Like when I've been out on the road with Billy Currington, his manager's coming on the bus going, hey, you got to come do this radio interview, or you've got this thing at 3 and you got sound check. And so our time is very limited. So I want to be able to dive in as quickly as I can to getting something going with them and get their input so that if they do have to leave or go take a call or something, I can continue working on it because I have enough direction from them, that kind of thing.
We could do a whole episode on this, like how to save time. Like say you show up, the artist isn't there yet, tune your freaking guitar. Yeah. Why are you going to start tuning when the artist is in the room and he's wanting to go on something and you're like, well, let me tune my guitar. There's all kinds of things that you can do to save time.
Stay tuned. We'll do that later. Yeah. So I think being organized, having a lot of great ideas and great options. And I base those ideas on, I listen to interviews with the artist. I kind of try to get into where their headspace is right now. And so I go, if I was in that headspace, maybe these ideas would work. So I think just the more organized you can be with those, the better. I mean,
and that goes into the doing your homework. Like if you're reading some articles about the artist, for instance, if your artist is going through a bitter divorce, that might affect the type of idea I bring into the writing session. I might want to tread lightly. You don't want to write a song about my perfect wife, You
might throw out a title like "I Hate That Girl" or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the key to all of this with artists, in many ways, is that you want to find out what they're needing for their project.
Yeah.
So if they've released 2 ballads, their next song's going to be an up-tempo probably, or if you ask them, what is it you are looking for your project, or, what do you not have yet that you'd like to have, or what song would you like, what song do you cover but you'd like to replace with an original in your show? And just the more questions you can ask them to find out what they're missing, what they're needing or wanting, that's going to give you the best insight into how to fill that slot.
This bought my condo. This advice right here.
Did it?
Because I showed up to write with Darius Rucker and his producer, and the day before in the studio, they had played me their album. It was finished, his first record. I was grateful I had 1 song on it, so they were like, come over, we want to play you the album. So the next day we were supposed to write, and they show up, and I go, guys, you don't have any romantic songs on your record. And they looked at each other like, you're right. And I didn't know when I threw that out, I didn't want to trash their record, but I was like, you don't have any. And they liked that idea so much. We wrote a great song that day. They went in and recorded it. And I got a second song on the album, which was my second single on the album, which literally the money from that bought this condo.
Yeah.
So that one piece of advice, see there, you say we never talk about money on SongTown because we're focused on the tips and tricks of writing.
Yeah.
We love the craft of writing, but this will make you some money. I'm serious.
Yeah. I mean, just taking 10 minutes to ask all those questions can help you zero in on exactly what you need to write, And so don't be that person that comes into a co-write with an artist and goes, I've got the perfect thing for you. Here's what you need, slow down, ask them questions, and make sure that what you've got fits what they really need.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check out songtown.com if you'd like to hear more about what we do. We're community coaching and connections for songwriters. Our former members have gone on to write #1 songs in pop, country, major sync placements. We'd love to help you out as well. Also, thanks to our sponsors, Sweetwater Music. We love those guys. Best customer service in the music business. Cheers.
See you soon.